Hello, hello. Hope you all are doing well. I just wanted to mention some fascinating things that I was thinking about and came across in regard to the Capricorn full moon that we have on Sunday the 21st. So this is a blue moon. It's the second full moon in a cycle. The first one was at 1 degree Capricorn on June 21st. And so Capricorn is connected to the father archetype. Saturn is the ruler. Saturn is considered to be a malefic, and if you look at the mythology of Saturn, who's also known as Kronos, it's pretty fascinating, and we can be feeling these themes playing out on the collective level and likely our personal lives as well. Like, there are shadow sides and light sides to every sign, and so like low vibe, high vibe, and as we move through each zodiac sign, like starting in the beginning at 0 and 1 degrees, it's kind of like discovering these new archetypes, these new characteristics and traits and gifts of Capricorn. The ability to stay disciplined and produce so that we have something to sustain ourselves during the cold months. And as we learn these skills over the course of a Capricorn term, anytime like any given planet is in the sign of Capricorn, then we kind of go through the zodiac and pick up those traits that are useful, and then we hopefully, ideally, let go of the shadow sides of that sign, such as control and greed and unemotionality. Like this can be kind of play out in the Cancer Capricorn polarity, where Cancer is connected to the mother and Capricorn is connected to the father, and the Capricorn stereotype, or the father stereotype, is to provide and work and provide for the family. But on the shadow side of this polarity, it can play out in a situation where the father role, or the Capricorn role, the provider role, and it can be either the mother or the father, whoever is providing. Like the father could be the nurturer and the mother could be the breadwinner or whatever. And so whoever is providing, whoever is like at work and away from the family, on the shadow side, there can be the tendency to or the routine or habit to be stuck in this work role, completely detached from the family, and you're emotionally distant, whether it's intentional or not. In some cases, like, it can be a unconscious thing where the demands of the family emotionally is overwhelming, or like it can be like just too much to handle, where you become overwhelmed with what's going on emotionally with the family, and so you become addicted to work, or you use work as an excuse to escape the emotional responsibilities to the family. And so like that's a situation that's like one example of how this full moon can kind of highlight what's going on and be called to like address that situation. And this is going to be a theme and like issue that we're going to revisit again. Like, this isn't the last time we're gonna feel these energies. We're close, like we're this close to like breaking these generational curses. As part of this full moon in Capricorn energy as well, because in September Pluto will be moving back into the same degree of Capricorn, where Pluto is going to be really uprooting and cleaning up those areas of our lives where the energies that are no longer serving us will need to be dismantled, uprooted, released, just If it's not allowing us to move into our full potential, then it will need to be addressed and removed in some way or another. And this can be in relation to like anything that's in control or who has authority, who has had authority for too long now, you know, whether it's over a course of a year or like years or generations or eons. So this could be like within your family, your system, like if we've been relying on government systems that have not been acting in integrity. And of course we can see that. We can see that we have been not just witness but victims to a corrupt system, a system that has been running on capitalism, commerce. You know, Capricorn is connected to commerce. I mean, Mercury is like the transactional side of commerce, but like commerce connected to capitalism and corporations and acquiring assets in some way, you know, purchasing power, money, that's all Capricorn. And the shadow sides of that is, you know, greed and like holding on to this control and power. Going back to the mythology, like, so Saturn, or Kronos, mythologically, ended up eating his children, or like killing his children, and that included Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon were Kronos and Rhea's children. But Zeus was the youngest child who was raised in secret, grew up in secret, because Rhea, the mother, hid him from Saturn so that Kronos wouldn't kill his youngest child. And Saturn did this due to the fear of losing control, like due to the fear of change. You know, he was obsessed with having this control and wanted things to stay the same. And so if he had children that were going to mature, the children would eventually mature and grow up and, you know, inherit Saturn or Kronos's farm and inheritance. And so Saturn did not want that to happen. He killed his children, and Zeus ended up killing his own father, overthrew his father, and which is a symbolic of overthrowing oppressive regimes. And that's kind of where we are now in modern times. And so it's really interesting to understand the mythology of Saturn and Kronos, and how it's like the energies are being felt now, like collectively and on our personal level. In modern psychological terms, this can be related to individuals who exert control over others to avoid facing their own insecurities or potential failures. And so the fear of changing, the fear of like doing things that are not conventional, like just like fear of change, is a shadow side of Capricorn. And this has been played out through the lens of intergenerational trauma, where patterns of abuse and control are passed down through generations. And so, like, if we really face what is going on, we can see that the traditions that have been passed down are, you know, some are useful and some are worth holding on to, but, you know, if we were to really face up to what's really going on, a lot of them are outdated and they don't fit with the times. Like, times have changed, conditions have changed, so therefore we have to also adjust to the changes. And the old traditions have been proven to be unsustainable or destructive to our own self-worth, because when we rely or become dependent on authorities, then we're like giving up our power. We're not able to like utilize our own creativity to create something of our own, and it's like a suppression of creativity. And we can see that with like the defunding of art efforts, like in schools. Like the art department is losing funding and it's like this fear of control, as well as the greed for money. It's like withholding allowance for your child. Yeah, and it's interesting in Greece, there are festivals that celebrate Zeus. Celebrates the mythology of Saturn as well as Zeus. And these festivals take place roughly around late July to early August in Athens. So very interesting, the parallels to this Capricorn full moon. And so whether we are giving up our power against our will, or we're just surrendering our power to the systems that currently are, it is a time that those control systems, whether it's the government or CEOs, like corrupt management, that's so, I don't think there's anybody that's unfamiliar with that kind of energy. If you've ever been on anybody's payroll, I'm sure you've experienced some sort of corrupt work environment, politics. Even if it's the medical system, the whole medical system is a whole nother topic. But there's like somebody controlling that system, where doctors and nurses and like anybody that's in the medical industry has their hands tied to a certain degree because of the policies that have been set. So yeah, right now is a potent energy with the full moon at 29 degrees. So that's the moon at 29 degrees Capricorn and the sun at 29 degrees Cancer. And so when those two oppose each other, that's a full moon, and it's highlighting the shadow sides of each of those signs. So it's like the hopelessness of not being able to take control of your own life, become sustainable, letting go of authorities, letting go of the control systems, and also not giving up control and being overbearing, whether it's like overbearing over a collection of people or your children or your employees. It can play out in a number of different ways, and it is in a sextile to Neptune in Pisces, which is retrograde. It's the opportunity to dissolve those traits of Capricorn that we know do not serve us. And only a few hours after the full moon will this moon come into contact with Pluto, which is at 0 degrees Aquarius. And so Pluto is going to retrograde back into Capricorn in September at 29 degrees. Between now and then, like this area of Capricorn and the beginning degrees of Aquarius are going to be like kind of bouncing back and forth between control, like the authorities wanting control and the people taking back control. It's going to be this kind of struggle between the two, and the Capricorn authorities like not wanting to let go of control. And I kind of feel like this is like prying the fingers off of these people in authority to like let go of what they've been holding on to, like whether it's money, like the control over our money. It's gonna be interesting. It is interesting times. And then within a few days, like Pluto, like Mars is also moving into the sign of Gemini, which is an air sign, and Pluto in Aquarius is an air sign, and Mars is like the energy of will and aggression and goals. And so with this trine between Mars and Pluto, we are really wanting to pursue those goals that will allow us to be more innovative and like think of new ways to take our power back. And we're like coming up with new ideas. Like Gemini is the energy of seeing what's on the other end of the spectrum. like looking at options that may not have been explored before. And so in a trine also to the South Node in Libra, this is where we are able to kind of like reclaim our sovereignty, or allow for justice to prevail, especially with the trine to Pluto. It's very, very transformative, and like the power, which is Pluto in Aquarius, like to the people, will definitely be like it's percolating, you know? And it's all in a sextile, like Pluto and Aquarius, and Mars and Gemini are sextile to the North Node in Aries. North Node in Aries is at 10 degrees. So we have these opportunities, these like tangible opportunities to really make something, like really see things through in a tangible way. Was that all I wanted to mention about this one? So yeah, I just found the mythology of Saturn fascinating as it relates to what is going on now. And the last time, so like Saturn is currently in Pisces, and it's, you know, moving closer to Neptune. I mean, they are both retrograde. Saturn and Neptune are both retrograde, but they're going to be coming together eventually, moving into Aries together, like within hours of each other. And the last time that happened was in the sign of Capricorn, which was in 89. And that was when the Berlin Wall fell. And like that's, you know, structures. Capricorn, Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn, and Saturn is all about structures and walls. And so in the sign of Capricorn is like literally like walls that separate countries and families, and like how crazy. So like Neptune dissolving Saturn, like that wall coming down is very Neptune Saturn. And before that was 1953 in the sign of Libra. I mean, there were a lot of events happening in 1953 in regard to so many wars in Russia and France. And in the sign of Libra, Capricorn, and Pisces, these are all connected to like authorities related to the justice system, commerce, like capitalism, and religion. Like I feel like all three of these signs, Libra, Capricorn, and Pisces, have a lot of patriarchal influence. And Saturn and Pisces, I mean Saturn and Neptune, has been going through those signs to dissolve those authorities that have been lacking integrity. Like 29 degrees of any sign is kind of where the culmination of the energies of that sign show up, and that includes like the shadow sides of that particular sign. And so in the sign of Capricorn, it's like control, fear of change, like holding on to like not wanting to let go of control, and suppressing the growth or evolution of, you know, whatever it might be that you are not allowing to grow, whether it's, you know, the potential of your employees or your children. Like, you know, people in high positions in business may sabotage, you know, the success of their employees for fear of like being overtaken or overthrown or replaced, you know, like yeah, it kind of speaks to that that, what do you call it, when like someone's at the top of the mountain, like the lone ranger. Yeah, another story of the shadow side of Capricorn can be the hollow victory, where the success, the drive for success can be can lead to isolation and loneliness, disconnection, like a lack of fulfillment. So like there's this, you know, like road to achievement where you're striving for this title, or you know, like earning 7 figures or whatever it might be, but then your priorities can be misplaced, and you end up being obsessed with identifying with your self-worth. This full moon in Capricorn, in a nutshell, speaks to like unchecked ambition, whether it's people in authorities, governments, you know, parents who are refusing to let go of control and not allowing progress to take place. And so this can be self-isolating because people around you, or like the people that you have had control over, are wanting to break free and wanting to, you know, we just had this Mars-Uranus conjunction where it's an energy of like rebellion with a cause. And so people are wanting to break free from this stifling control. And so there's got to be a compromise. You know, it's going to have to be a willingness to relinquish control, or this control will be removed by the universe. So hopefully that made sense. And I don't know, I just found this pretty fascinating, as I do see and feel a lot of parallels in like all around, you know. So it's pretty exciting. Can be stressful, but I trust that, you know, coming out on the other side of this is going to be like this golden age where we reclaim our power and are able to really flourish and utilize and express our creativity that has been stifled for too long. And the abundance can be shared by all. So hopefully that made sense. Hopefully that was helpful. Yeah, it's super important to stay like grounded and not distracted, like sticking to your guns and persevering with the goals that you have, like persevering with the plans that you have, despite any sort of influence or, you know, imposed illusions of fear to keep you dependent on whatever kind of authority. So yeah, hopefully that resonates with somebody. Okay, thanks for listening, and I will see you on the next one.